Hey everybody, it's Ross here of the Hobby Stand, and welcome on back to part 2 of my Wargaming tile terrain, well, attempt at it here. So, I figured this time around I just narrate over what I'm doing, instead of explaining things in the video, so you're going to see bits and pieces of me working on this, that, etc. So, right now, since I last left off, basically I'm getting these river tiles slash road tiles ready for flocking and doing a few little touch-ups. And as we'll soon see that the flocking grass completely, and I mean completely, covers up pretty much all the paint. So the brighter Christmas green you see, it doesn't really come through. Now, I let these dry for a couple of hours because I'm not supposed to get. I let these dry for a couple of hours because it's Hasta La Vista green acrylic paint. But now I move on to doing up the rest of these tiles and priming them black, and then from there priming them green. And here I'm thinking, okay, let's put some Christmas green on here, which will again we'll see later that it was absolutely fruitless to do this because you don't really see it through the grass flocking at all. Now here I go back through and, well, paint up the other tiles that are now ready to be painted up. Of course I do one side and then two smaller sides, let those dry, then flip them over, do the other big sides and the rest of the small sides, and it works out in the end. here we are the next day as I get these out of the way to dry, because now it's time to flock my river slash road tiles. I ended up running low on the flock and ended up getting the rest I had in the bag. I do have some later for doing up at least another face of one tile, or maybe both sides of one tile, but that's yet to be determined. As I do kind of want to see if I can't order more of this from Games Workshop, and if not Games Workshop, maybe some other little miniature uh, detailing supplier of some sort. Maybe Gale Force Winds Hobbies. Maybe they still carry some. I'm not too sure. But at the same time, it's time to invert the plastic garbage bags over. So any of that sticky acrylic paint's now on the inside, give me a nice fresh surface. So yeah, it's always great to reuse here. waiting for. It's time to flock these boards. And as we'll see, all that Christmas green doesn't even come through. But if I wasn't flocking, adding some of this paint color does kind of help break it up a little bit. But as I soon find out later, that it was kind of pointless in a way too. And now here I am trying leaf green and this other green on the remaining tiles. And I thought to myself here, let's get a sponge and experiment with it. Because why not? Some of it turned out okay, some of it just turned like a big mishmash of what the hell have I done? So after faffing about with the sponge, it's time to paint the other bits brown in these little crevices. Along with painting some gray over it too to add a little bit of stonework. And I took a risky bit with this little what's left of a foundation pit here in just a moment. Now, I've zoomed in with the camera here on 1080p to try and get a clear shot of what I'm doing here. So essentially my hack job of a sponge tab to get some shades of green around the interior was messier than I want it to be. But I'm just going in with a darker gray and just doing up all these notches I made for like little brick stonework or mason and mortar, what's left of a foundation for a building. And as we'll soon see in a later shot, I kind of dry brush in some that tan color again to kind of match the road a little bit, like kind of show like some dried clay or dirt or something. But at the end of the day, it's like what I have is what I have. I could have been smarter about it. Took the brown, added a bit of white, make it a little brighter in some spots. But I'm like, I just want these done and ready for war. That's the whole point: speed and efficiency, and just using what I have. Does it look kind of ugly? Yeah, sorta. But you know what? It functions what it needs to do at the end of the day. Now, here I go with the water effects, and probably the only piece of this styrene that's going to get it for now. And then some dawns on me later, which I will explain here in just a moment. And there you have it, my 3 foot by 4 foot, 1 foot by 1 foot tile modular system completed. Mine is still waiting on this to dry. And completed for now. I'm looking to see if I can't get this type of grass, static grass in bulk, to finish these up, guys. I left this one just its base color. The experiment with the sponge dabbing kind of worked, but not to the effect I was going for. It looks more like finger paint than anything, but it does add a bit of flair. I did add some brown into where these indents were from glue before. Right. I did a little bit of dry brush in here, some stonework. I'll flip it over this way. Oh, the camera's going to catch it there, but like a little stonework there. But yeah, at least it's colored up now and should look good. And despite me having a little issue here and here with the riverbed, getting the things to line up, but you know what, mistakes do happen. It's my first time doing something like this. And now that I have a really nice little razor blade there, hopefully it'll make cutting these edges a little cleaner for next time. Because I do plan to add to these tiles, make a few more. Maybe make like a 1x2 even. Yeah, 2x2. But yeah, it's great. Because now you have a river one way, or I just switch them the other way, I have a river this way, minus that tile, right? But I should make the tile with like an end gap for the river or something. Or just show like an underground flow coming out for the old dried bed. And this yellow didn't work out as planned because the water effects aren't in there, or much of. But the nice part is, you flip them over, have different designs. I'm going to flip that one over. Don't want the pits? There you go. Right? You don't want the river? You can set up a nice road. Right? Simple. But yes, the whole goal of this was to make something simple, yet effective, and didn't take up a whole lot of time, but of course it took longer than usual. Like, hello, Licorice, come say hi to the camera. And these are one of my 2 adopted babies. Alright? Disapprove. Good job there. Alright, everybody. Take care, and after this dries and I get this put away for now, I'll be going back to the railway, so stay tuned for that.